Have you ever wondered what the human voice is truly capable of? I mean, what if I told you that your own voice can create sounds that seem to, well, defy physics? In this explainer, we're going to dive into a private vocal lesson that unlocks an almost impossible power and teaches us how to make sounds that feel like they come from another world entirely.
So, our journey starts with this phrase, the voice of a hellbowl. Now, that doesn't come from some fantasy novel. That's actually how a vocal instructor described a real Tibetan singing technique. It's a name that just conjures up something ancient, incredibly powerful, and maybe not quite human.
So you have to ask, right? How on earth could a person possibly make a sound like that? Our first instinct, our gut reaction, tells us it must take just an incredible amount of force, a huge amount of physical strain and effort. But what if our instincts are completely wrong?
Because the answer is completely, and I mean completely, counterintuitive. The path to unlocking that hellbowl voice, it goes against everything we think we know about making a powerful sound. It doesn't begin with adding more power at all. It begins by letting go of all that effort. And that's the central paradox right there. To create this incredibly powerful, resonant sound, the very first step is to stop trying to create it.
So let's really dive into this secret. Less is more. I know, it feels totally backward, but as we're about to see, trying harder is the very thing that holds most of us back. You know, our normal instinct is pretty simple. If you want more sound, you give more effort. You push, you strain, you force it. But the secret to these incredible vocal techniques is the exact opposite. Less effort actually allows your vocal cords to vibrate more freely, which creates more resonance, and that gives you a richer, fuller sound without any of the strain. As the instructor in our source material puts it, the whole goal is to figure out how to do it with minimal energy. You just can't force your vocal cords to work harder. They're not built that way. So the focus has to shift completely, away from brute strength and towards total relaxation and pinpoint precision.
Okay, so if you're not using force, what do you use? Well, this is where the training gets wonderfully strange. It involves a toolkit of highly effective and, well, pretty unusual exercises.
Honestly, the toolkit for this sounds less like a singing lesson and more like a trip to a really strange farm. But these aren't just funny impressions. Each one is a specific tool. The kettle sound, for example, teaches you how to use a needle-thin stream of breath to find a hidden point of resonance. The owl imitation helps you create a deep, open space in your mouth for those rich overtones. And the goat? Well, the goat is a masterclass in learning to precisely control the mix of pure air and vocal tone.
But here's the thing. Mastering these physical tools is only half the journey. The real magic, the real control, it comes from something deeper. It comes from creating a detailed mental map of your own body and all its sensations. This gets into a practice called Bayan Shomyo, which is a kind of vocal meditation. The whole idea is to map a sound to a specific physical location in your body. So you actually learn to feel a low humming M sound resonate way down at the base of your torso, and then a high, sharp N sound vibrate right at the crown of your head. You are literally directing the sound with your mind. And this isn't just some vague spiritual idea. It's a trainable skill that the instructor calls active internal listening. I mean, can you imagine developing such a fine-tuned awareness that you can feel the vibration of a sound inside your throat, then on your skin, and even in the air just outside your body? That is the level of precision we're talking about here. It's incredible.
And this brings us to a really crucial point. These techniques are not just vocal tricks you can learn on their own. They're deeply, deeply connected to culture, to identity, and to the performer's entire inner world.
So what are the core philosophies here? What does this all boil down to? First, that true mastery comes from relaxation, not from strain. Second, that the quality of a sound is literally determined by where you place your focus. Third, that these techniques are completely inseparable from their cultural roots. And finally, and this is a big one, that performance is an incredibly active sensory experience, not a passive one.
So all of this, it leaves us with a much bigger question, doesn't it? This lesson isn't just about the voice. It's really a new way of approaching a challenge. If just letting go of effort can unlock such an impossible-seeming sound from inside us,
What other incredible potentials could you unlock simply by changing how you try?